Anyways, I got a great workout plan for us today. Please make sure to work within your ability. Make sure that you modify any techniques that need to be modified to work better for you. And without further ado, my name's Daniel Moore, and this is going to be a fantastic movement session today. I'm so excited. But let's start on the ground, and then we'll go from there, okay? Get my timer started here. And let's get the show on the road. All right. So let's start by laying on our back, please. So lay on our back, nice and comfortable. You might notice I have my Clark W. Griswold short shorts on today. I like to be comfortable when I move, and this is what I wear when I'm comfortable. So this is what I'm wearing today for our workout. So today, while you're laying on the ground, I just want to invite you to let go of tension. I want to invite you to turn your attention inside your body. We're going to take our hands, we're going to rub them together, create a little bit of friction. You'll notice some heat being generated there, and then let's go ahead and place our hands on our abdomen. Now as you breathe, see if you can let go of tension, even though you're using muscles to take the air in. So you're expanding the lower ribs, front, sides, and back as you breathe in. And then you're exhaling very, very slowly. You can add some gentle neck rotations from side to side. And while you do that, see if you can take your attention inside the spine. See if you can visualize your spine strong and vibrant. And then also see if you can imagine your spine is very slippery in terms of the joint surfaces. Imagine they're shiny and really smooth and that they move really, really well. Nice and relaxed. Let's go ahead and just walk our fingers around our abdominal area. Just getting in tune with all the different dynamics that are playing out here. Sometimes we might have some tension or even some gas or whatever it is. And I want to invite you to let go of this tension because this part of our body is a force transmission station. It means that it transmits force from one part of the body to the other. So we want this part to be awake, but we also want it to be open, an open channel for energy, blood, lymph, just overall circulation. From here, let's add our gentle stroking from the side of the neck down through the sternum into the stomach. And again, just really bringing our attention into the sensations that we feel with our hands. Nice, gentle stroking through the sternum. Good. From here, we can bring one arm above the head. You can massage into the armpit. And then squeeze into the armpit. This pumps the lymph nodes within that area. And then what it also does is it helps to stimulate the mechanoreceptors or the nerves in the tissues to prepare them for movement. Let's do the other side. Gentle squeezing, stroking. You can also add the hip and the leg. Just adding just a little bit of gentle massage. Just bringing some attention into the different parts of the body. And remember, the massage stimulates the nerves. And as you stimulate the nerves, those nerves will be more productive as we move. Okay, make sure to switch sides, balance it out. Massage your knee to the foot, toes, Walking your fingers down and around, adding a gentle, stretch by drawing the toes towards the nose. You bring the leg across the body. Just add little variations. Whatever part of your body needs a little bit of massage this morning, add it. Perhaps you need some in the base of your neck, add it. Perhaps you need to add a little bit of a wave through the spine as you lay there. Breathe in, breathe out. Nice and long inhalations, nice and long on the exhalations. Okay. Let's go ahead and bend both knees, feet flat on the mat. From here, we're going to tuck our butt underneath and we're going to draw our belly button towards the spine. We'll start with some rocking. So we always start by drawing the belly button to the spine first because that contracts that transverse abdominis. Then we can go ahead and lift the chin or the head up off the ground, chin towards the chest, bring the legs up off the ground, begin to rock forward and back. Nice and easy, nice and relaxed. Feeling the ground massage the back muscles as you go. You want to make sure that it's really smooth and that you're rounding through the low back as you rock. Nice and easy. You can add a reach if you like. You can change the position of your legs so you can have bent legs, or you can go to a straight leg. You can separate the legs, make it fun. Bring one leg straight while one leg stays bent. So many different wonderful options that we can explore. So make sure that you explore all the different possibilities. Okay. So from here, we're going to do some rolling. So what you're going to do is put your hands together into a prayer position in front of your body. You're going to bend one knee, foot flat on the ground, and we're going to roll onto our side. And then back onto our back side, switch sides. Real easy. So one leg is bent, one leg is straight. Palms together in prayer position, roll onto the side. Switch sides. Rolling onto the side so you'll feel the ground massaging and compressing into the shoulder. Very, very good. You'll also feel the compression of the ground into the hip. Switch sides. If you want to go all the way over, you can. Make sure that you're breathing as you go, nice and deeply, nice and expansively. So there's an element of work, but there's also an element of relaxation because remember the breath makes your movement efficient. It also helps to massage your internal organs and to help your body mitigate inflammation, which is so important, especially as we get older. Okay. Nice and easy. Okay, so from here, we're going to add some get-ups. So all you're going to do is you'll start with some rocking, and then we're going to rock ourselves to an upright position and then stand up. So people, flat on the floor, knees are bent, draw our belly button towards our spine, contract those abdominal muscles, start with some rocking. We're going to make one leg straight and one leg bent. So from here, I come up, I have one arm posted, I bring the leg underneath, come to standing, lower myself right back down. Back into rocking. Rocking, forward and back. One leg goes straight, one leg goes bent, posted arm, and then that straight leg comes underneath my body, come to standing, I can walk it out. Feeling the ground underneath the feet, lower yourself back to the ground. Go rocking, One leg is straight, one leg is bent. Remember, the straight leg goes underneath or in between the posted arm and the posted foot. So it goes underneath. I come to standing. I lower myself right back down. Rock it out. You can move around with your rocking. Remember, when you post that arm, distribute the weight of your body throughout the whole hand, not just the wrist. So as you place your hand down, you really want to make sure that you're putting weight into the fingers in addition to the wrist. Okay, so now we're going to go into our rocking again. This time we're going to add a reach. So rocking, coming up, and reaching in between the legs. Rock back, reach in between the legs. Let's add to this by reaching towards the ceiling. Rock back, reach up. Let's add another layer and reach one arm at a time. 1, 2. Rock it up. 1, 2. And when you're doing these reaches, see if you can explore different positions. So I could reach up like this, but I can also rotate through the spine and add another variation. Reach. Now just add whatever reach feels best for you. So, again, you can do as many reaches as you like. You can also add to the reach. So I can post an arm, reach above my head, rock, reach. Imagine that you're going to be catching something heavy, so you want to brace through the abdominal muscles. Breathe deeply as you go. Let the body breathe with you. So a lot of times we focus on the lungs doing the breathing, but the joints breathe also. Okay? All right. So now we're going to go back into rolling. This time, we're going to put our arms above our head. So the arms are above the head. You're going to, again, bend one knee, roll onto your side, and really feel a nice gentle opening of the posterior shoulder and also through the front side of the shoulder as you roll. And then switch sides. So again, arm is above the head, the opposite knee is bent, roll, and come back. Switch sides. Roll, switch sides, roll, switch sides. I like to bring the other hand in for support here. So even though one arm is straight and I'm focusing on the sensations there, the other arm is bent, and I can catch myself from rolling too much, too fast. And also that prepares me to push up, which is literally something that you can add nice and relaxed, but not too relaxed. There's an element of comfort with this movement, but remember, playing is so important when it comes to exercise, and play lives between comfort and challenge. Okie dokie. So from my rolling, I'm going to practice my get-ups. So let's just continue the same rolling pattern. So I roll onto the side. I'm going to press myself up. And then again, just come to standing. Walk it up. Lower yourself to the ground, nice and controlled, nice and relaxed. Lay down however you like, however you can get there. And then again, use your rolling technique to get yourself into a new position, and then come to standing, walk it out. Make sure the spine is relaxed. Make sure your breathing is relaxed. Nice and calm. Nice and easy. Remember, the goal is to get up. So I don't care how you do it, as long as you are coming from the ground and pushing yourself up to a standing position. Lower down, nice and relaxed. You can add some rolls. And then when you're ready, get yourself up. So from a lying down position to a standing position. This is just so important, and it's a great way to warm up. Let's see how creative you can be with your get-ups this morning. Okay, guys, last set of rocking. So this time we're going to add a little bit of a side rocking dynamic. So similar to a break fall, we're rolling a little bit more towards the side. What you can also do is plant your hand, come to your forearm, come to your back, and then work yourself back up. It's teaching your body how to come down onto the ground safely and smoothly. You also want to shift or change up how you do that. So sometimes we're used to using our palm, but see if you can take the back side of your hand into the ground. Just adding little variation. Make sure to breathe deeply and expansively while you go. Change your position up. You kind of do a little bit of a bicycle movement with your legs. Whatever you like. You bring your body weight over that leg. Start mobilizing the ankles. Nice and easy. So again, using the side, rocking onto the side, and then coming right back up. Okay, so our last set of get-ups. So again, we're going to start on our back. From here, you're going to see if you can use the momentum of your body to come to a deep squat position and stand up from there. So it's going to look like this. Stand up, lower down. And you can literally use the momentum of your arm and your legs to get you to a standing position. Now, if this isn't an option, you can always use your hands to support getting those legs underneath you, and then just make it work for you. Ultimately, remember the goal, get up. Got these nice little modifications. You can also change the position of your legs. So I can have one knee bent, one leg straight. Bring myself forward and back. Remember the goal. Get up. Kind of like life. Life gets you into these positions a lot. Oh, we gotta get up. And if you can practice getting up when it's easy, life is easy, you'll be more prepared to get up when life is rough. You're practicing getting up metaphorically as well as literally. Okay. Beautiful. So let's do a little bit of mobilization. So we're going to start on our hands and knees. tabletop position. Mobilize that spine a little bit. So remember, when we mobilize, it's about letting go of tension. So we're just going to start with a little bit of flexion, extension, and lateral flexion. So you're doing a combination of moving your head and rear towards the same side. You can also do a little cat and cow. But I want you to explore sensations and imagine if somebody was watching you right now. If it doesn't look weird, you're not doing it right. There's really not too many times I talk about doing something right, but movement, productive movement, looks weird sometimes. And we might associate it with other behaviors or whatever it is, but we want to be clear on what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do for this movement is mobilize the spine. So how many different ways can you move your spine around? How many different ways can you articulate your spine? Rotate, flex, extend, add the shoulders into the mix. Imagine extending the tip of your tailbone as far away from the tip of your head as you can. Breathe deeply and expansively. You can add some movements to add a little load into that mobilization. So many different options. Okay, so from here, come into a side bend sit, please. We're going to mobilize our hips. From a side bend sit, you're going to pick up the back leg. Remember our kickouts? They're going to come out like this. So we're going to do the same thing, only this time we're just going to step it across and then bring it right back. Swivel your knees to the other side, please. Same thing. So you pick up this back leg, bring it across the front, bring it right back. Swivel the knees again. Back leg comes up, reach it over. Try to do it without using your hands if you can, but if you need to, you can also take the arms to bring the leg into the body and then bring it back. Swivel to the other side, same thing. Pick up the back leg, bring it to the front, and really see if you can think about what movement might come next. Perhaps you need to be able to get up from that position. All right? So you want to make your movements as functional as you can. Perhaps you might use. You can make these movements so fun. Truly. And the more fun it is, the less tension you hold in the body. Okay, so we'll just end this set with some hip swivels. And now we'll move back into on our hands and knees, tabletop position. Let's mobilize our shoulders. Okay, so we're going to start with a rhomboid push-up. That means the elbows are straight. And all you're going to do is you're going to bring your shoulder blades closer together and further apart. So the spine is coming up towards the ceiling. You want the elbows to be straight for this movement. If that's difficult, go ahead and lower yourself down to your forearms. Same exact thing. You want to feel the movement of the scapula on the rib cage. Okay? Nice and easy. From here, we're going to add some rotations. So you're just going to take the pit of your elbow and you're going to rotate it around. Now I want you to bring your mind and your focus into the sensations deep in the shoulder here. A lot of times we don't feel or connect to different parts of our body unless it hurts. So what we're doing is we're developing a relationship with our body, hopefully when it doesn't hurt. So that way, in the event of an injury, you have that relationship so that you can repair that part or help your body repair that part by mobilizing and moving. because movement is a very important part of healing, especially for our physical body. Okay, so you can do both of those at the same time. Add a combination of rhomboid push-up and rotations through the shoulder. Okay, so from here we're going to go back to our mobilizations for the spine. We'll do it from a kneeling position. So if this is uncomfortable for you, you can put something underneath or in between your legs and your butt. And all we're going to do is we're going to hinge forward at the waist. And then once we get to the end range here, just let your spine curl over. Forehead comes to the ground. From here, you're going to come back, stacking one vertebrae on top of another, come into an upright position. And then from here, you're going to lean back. You can take your hands back if you like as well. Take one full deep breath right here. And then when I come back up, I want to lead with the lowest part of my spine and bring each vertebrae up one part at a time. Okay, let's try the same thing forward. So again, I hinge forward at the waist, coming forward. Let the forehead come to the ground. As I come back up, one vertebrae at a time, I want to stack each vertebrae. Just get that sensation. Feel each one of my vertebrae coming back into alignment. From here, I can take the arms behind me, move back. And again, as I start to come forward, start with the lowest part of your spine first, then the mid-back, then the neck. So just take as much time as you need. Come forward and back. Okay. From here, let's go back into some mobilizations for the hips. We're going to do that by using a crawl lunge. So you're going to go on hands and knees. And then if you like, what you can do is you can either come into a plank position or you can keep your knees on the ground. Choice is yours. What we're going to do is we're just going to bring one leg forward into a nice open hip position here. We're going to drop that knee out to the side, allowing the bottom of the foot to face inward. And then come right back out of it, switch sides. So I'm just bringing my leg forward, dropping the knee out to the side. Not too far. It shouldn't be uncomfortable. In fact, it should be an active movement where I'm literally almost pressing into the outside of my foot. This is one of the most common ankle injuries people have, is when they roll their ankle. So we want to strengthen those muscles, tendons, ligaments in the foot. And this will translate into stronger and safer hips as well. Bring it back, and again, if you want to increase the intensity, just take yourself into a push-up position and then bring it forward and go at a speed that works for you. I can go fast. I can also go slow. So this is a hip mobilization. So you can add whatever variations you like to make this work for you. But really focus on the sensations deep in the hip. Nice and strong. Okay, from here, let's lower our bellies to the ground, please, on our stomachs. We're going to add some prone reaches, some post up on your forearms. And all you're going to do is bring one arm across, palm facing the ceiling with the other hand, reach behind, opening up the front side of the shoulder, come all the way back down. Switch sides. I'm bringing my forearm across, palm facing the ceiling, open up through the whole shoulder. Really allow the weight of the leg to act as a counterbalance or a weight to open up the tissues on the side of the rib cage. Come back. Okay, so bring the arm across, palm facing the ceiling, reaching through the fingers. Open up through the chest. And come right back down. Remember to use the breath, guys. It can be helpful to use the exhalation through the parts of the movement that are challenging, or the ones that are stretching. Again, if you have chairs or obstacles in your environment, so you can't get a full reach, that's okay. That's what life does, right? It gives us lots of opportunities to adapt. And sometimes we need an attitude adjustment. I need it all day. Okay. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go into a cobra position. From here, we're going to curl the toes under, drawing the belly button towards the spine. We're going to come into a child's pose. We're going to send a wave through the mid-back, forward, back into cobra, lower yourself to the ground. Okay? So again, and remember, you really want to use those back muscles. So if you can take your hands off the ground from time to time, that's a good move. So from here, I'm reaching up through my cobra. I'm extending through the whole spine. Then I'm drawing my belly button towards my spine to shift my weight back over my heels into child's pose. Sending a wave by accentuating movement through the mid-back, like a big wave, and then dropping my pelvis towards the floor. You want to make sure that your shoulders are away from the ears. You can kind of experiment with a shoulder pulse there if you like. And then elbows coming towards the body as you lower yourself down. Let's try that again. So extend through the spine, drop the weight back, child's pose, send a wave through the mid-back, lower down. That's what it looks like in all of its glory. Bring it there and come back. Go at a speed that works for you. Nice, gentle mobilization, focusing on the spine, but of course, we're also adding the hips and the shoulders, right? Okay. All right, so from here, we're going to change our position to a inverted crawl, so sit on your butt, please. Our last mobilization for the hips is just going to be from this inverted crawl position. You're going to lift your butt up off the ground. You're just going to drop your knee towards the inside and the outside, switch legs. So I'm just dropping, switching legs. If I want, I can bring my body closer to my feet, or I can take my body further away and just notice the different sensations that you feel as you mobilize. Make it work for you. That's the main thing. So you'll see that I'm just lifting one arm off the ground, rotating through, practicing pressing into the back side of my foot right here, switching. So there's so many variations. Breathe it out. Make it work for you. Let's see how creative you can be with your movement. I know if I had a video camera on you guys right now, you guys would probably be doing some really great movements. Nice and relaxed, and yet active. Okay, let's go ahead and sit on our butts, do some wrist circles. Just relax through the wrists, open up those fingers, get the spine nice and relaxed. So for our last set of shoulder mobilizations, we're going to do tripod transition. So let's post our hands behind, come to a flat foot, lift the butt up off the ground. and we're going to put all of our weight into one arm. So let's just explore the sensation, the strength and stability of that movement and switch sides. So I'm stable in the ground, and then I just want to explore the sensation of stability from different positions so I can increase the distance between my arm and my body. Same thing, or I can get closer. Switch sides. Okay, so this is starting to take us into a strengthening. So we don't really do just one thing. We don't just mobilize. We don't just stretch. We don't just strengthen. We do all those things. So that's what this movement practice is all about, is integrating as many different skill sets or techniques or strategies as we can. Switch sides. So you get a nice shoulder pulse. Feel the connection in the shoulder, the stability in the shoulder. Change your body position. Switch sides. Again, distribute the weight of your body throughout the whole hand, especially those fingertips. Sometimes we can even just take the wrist out of it and see how that feels. Okay. So, let's move into some strengthening exercises, shall we? Let's get into a squat. Stand up, please. So, from our standing position, feet shoulder width apart, you're just going to drop your weight back through the hips, come right back up to standing. So we're just strengthening, but also just preparing the tissues for the movement. So, a squat should be a very easy position for us to get into. So if you can lower yourself down towards the ground, that's great. And then come right back up to standing. A few more gentle squats. Okay, so from here, lower yourself down and come right back up. Feel the glutes by pressing those hips forward. So when I'm standing up, I press the glutes or press the hips forward with the glutes, and as I go back down, I want to separate my sit bones, and that will help me to really contract the gluteus maximus, the big muscles on the back of the hip. Nice and easy. You can even bounce at the end range here, just a little bit, not a lot. It's just gentle movement. You can change your position by separating your feet just a little bit further. Again, adding some nice, gentle, normal squats. And then lower yourself all the way down. Okay? All right. So from here, we're going to move into a deadlift. So our deadlift, we're going to keep the legs straight or the knees straight. And all we're going to do is we're going to drop the hips back, but we're going to hinge at the hips. So you take your hands on your hips if you like, and just use your hands to bring your body forward so that you're not bending at the knees and you're not rounding through the back. You want your back to be straight but not hyperextended. So you want to be nice and neutral. Go forward just until you feel that stretch. And then come right back up, lower down. Come right back up, lower down. You can add a little bit of rounding through the back if you like, but then come right back to your deadlift technique. You can draw your belly button towards your spine. Imagine that you are actually carrying some load. Breathe while you go. So our squat was our push, our deadlift is our pull. Thinking about strong back muscles. So again, you want to press through the crown of the head and feel the connection of the whole back side of your body. Nice and slow, nice and strong. These are also called good morning. Good mornings. Add a little bit of massage in there if you like. Explore your range of motion. You can add your rounding into that. Nice and strong. Okay, guys, come down to the ground. Let's get into some push-ups. We have some variations we can try here. So you can have your knees on the ground if you like. And your hands are going to be right underneath your shoulders to start. And all we're going to do is keep the elbows into the body, and we're going to come straight down and come right back up. You want to get the legs straight, that's good as well. But I want you to focus on quality over quantity. Take yourself down, press yourself up. So go as slow as you like. Feeling the sensation of the whole body working together as a whole. Imagine you had to get up so you can add a little bit, right? So we can press ourselves up, bring the leg under. This is our little break. Come back, straighten out the legs, come down. Up, with your leg underneath. Give yourself just a tiny break. When you're ready, come right back down. Okay? Nice and easy. Nice and strong. Woo! I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. Lower down. Okay, guys, back to our squats. This time, we're going to do a single leg squat. So you're going to go to the balls of your feet on one leg and put all of your weight, or as much of your weight as you can, into one leg. So if I wanted to, I could take this one off the ground. We're just doing a single leg squat. But you can use it as a kickstand, and that, the ball of the foot is right by the heel. So going nice and low, and then taking it high. Switch sides. You can do maybe 8 to 12 reps on each side, taking yourself as low as you like. If you need to, use your hands. Let's say, for example, maybe there's some arthritis or some discomfort in the knees. Feel free to use your hands. It's okay. Keep the arms moving. Whatever you like. Lift it up. I like to think about the distance between my knee and my hip. And making sure that my hips are doing a bulk of the work. So in order for that to happen, whatever joint you move first is the joint that gets the load, or the most of the load. Okay? So I want to move at the hip to get that hip in charge of the motion. Okay? All right, let's go back into our deadlifts. This time we're doing a Romanian deadlift, or a single leg deadlift. So, one leg comes off the ground, and all you're going to do is you're going to hinge forward. Now, sometimes people will reach their arms forward, but for this one, I want you to put your hands in a prayer position right in front of your chest. You also want to make sure that your hips are not open, but rather closed in the front. Not twisted, but your hips, if you were to put your hands on the front of your hips, they should be forward. So again, we're doing about 8 to 12 reps in a Romanian deadlift. Focus on that hip. Excuse me, the posterior hip is what we want working to get us upright. Nice and strong through that hip, switch sides. Okay, so again, prayer position with the hands. Lower yourself down. come right back up. Try to encourage yourself. If you're like me and you're built a little bit more like a Viking versus a ballerina, not because I'm so big, but because I have lack of mobility, be nice to yourself as you go. Encourage yourself. Like, wow, that's a good job. Oh, okay. You're trying and you're giving yourself 100%, and that deserves a little bit of recognition. The Lord knows we are very good at giving ourselves crap for stuff. Okay, so from our Romanian deadlift, we're going back into our push-up position. But this time what we're going to do is we're going to sit on our butt into a side bend sit. And so from the side bend sit, I'm going to use one arm to press myself up. So the arm comes behind. I can use the other hand for support, but I want to open up through the chest. So as I come down, the shoulder's still depressed, and I want to use the chest muscle or the front muscles to get my body upright. So shoulders down, fingers spread wide, take your chin to the ground, and press yourself up. Breathe deeply as you go, because especially when your spine goes into rotated positions, there's a tendency to hold unnecessary tension. So just take it easy. Let's switch sides. Same thing. So I got a side bend sit. I got one arm posted. I'm going to come down and up. Down and up. Well, this was way easier for me. So I had a shoulder injury, old shoulder injury, that I never had repaired on my other shoulder. And this movement was really difficult. But it didn't hurt. It just was difficult. So if you feel pain, if your body's way of telling you that you scale down the movement, you either need to decrease the range of motion, decrease the load, change something that you're doing. But don't be afraid. Pain is just information. That's all it is. Nothing to be afraid of. It's actually something to celebrate. Okay, so we're going back into our squat position one more time. This time we're just going to do a staggered stance. So let's come to standing, please. Staggered stance. Lower yourself down, touch the ground, come right back up, switch sides. So I have a staggered stance. I'm lowering myself down and coming right back up to the other side. Now, if you want to pump out several reps on one side and then transition, that's fine too. Okay? Change the positioning of your arms. Sometimes your arms will be on either side of your leg. Sometimes they'll be on the inside. Sometimes your position is to the outside. It's all about being able to move around. The ability of your body to move in as many different directions and positions as you possibly can. That's what it's all about. If you can really bring some attention into those feet especially. Let the feet be powerful. Let your feet command the movement, direct the movement, feel the sensations underneath the feet. So important, especially because we've been wearing shoes our whole lives. So you really want to wake up those toes, wake up those feet as much as you possibly can. Okay. So our last deadlift is going to be a staggered stance deadlift. So you're going to have one foot in front of the other. Both legs are straight. You're going to hinge forward at the waist. Okay, you can let your arm travel down the leg if you like. You can even reach one hand overhead and then come right back up. So we'll do about maybe 6 to 8 reps and just really explore the sensations here. Really feel a stretch on the back side of that front leg, but also feel the glutes pulling you Back up into an upright position. Slow and strong. Switch sides. Just really enjoy that sensation of stretch, but it's active. You're telling your body that these positions are safe. And what that does is it convinces your mind and your tissues that they can relax and go further. Nice and slow, nice and strong. Feel a nice, gentle opening. Again, the distance between your feet, you can change. You can make it further apart, closer together. Really feeling nice, powerful leg muscles here. Switch when you're ready. You can alternate sides if you like. Nice and smooth. You can bend the back leg, straighten that front. So many different ways to do it. Okay, let's go back onto the ground, please. Last set of push-ups. So for this one, we're going to use a staggered stance with our hands. So instead of having your push-up where both hands are right under the shoulders, you're going to have one hand forward, one hand back. And again, you can either choose to do it with your feet together, feet further apart. You're just going to do a staggered stance push-up. This is really a little bit more of a life push-up because if you fall down, God forbid, you're not going to be worried about, oh, are my hands totally together? You might fall down, boom, and then you got to push yourself up from that staggered stance position. So this is, again, preparing us for life. Okay, so again, get yourself into a position. Stagger those positions with your hands. Use different positions with the hands, different positions with the legs. Training out of alignment. That's one of our goals. We don't live in alignment. We live out of alignment. And so we need to prepare ourselves to be strong when we find ourselves out of alignment. Training in alignment is important as well, because many of us don't know what alignment is or even feels like. And that takes us into sensory motor amnesia, which equates to moving in ways that we're not even mindful of. And some of those ways might not be so productive for maintaining the health and integrity of our tissues and joints. So make this whatever you want it to be. Work as hard or as little as you like. And that wraps up this part of our movement session. So from here, we're going to move into some restorative poses. So the first thing we're going to do is come onto our knees with some on the balls of our foot. Flex foot kneeling is what this is called. And we're just going to do a little bit of movement of our spine forward and back. Deep breath here in this inverted position, opening up the front of the chest. Relaxing. So we've done the workout piece. Now we want to start to relax and unwind and use as little effort as possible as we move through these different movements. Explore the movement, the sensations of the movement, especially by using your breath. Let's go ahead and sit on our butts, please. We're going to remember that movement we did with side bend sit, bringing the leg forward and over. This time we're going to use this as a stretch, okay? So you're going to make sure that you're sitting on both sit bones. You're pressing through the crown of the head. Chest is open, but the ribs aren't flared. You want your spine to be neutral and long. So press through the front of the head. Shoulders are spread wide. And all you're going to do is just spend a few moments in this position right here, just experiencing the sensations of the hips and using deep diaphragmatic breathing to relax yourself down. Good. So from here, I'm going to squeeze onto my leg and I'm going to rotate through my spine by using my back muscles. I could pull on my leg if I want, but I want to use my back muscles as much as I can to really activate and strengthen the multifidi and rotatories, the different muscles that rotate the spine. So as I breathe in, I focus on length through the spine. As I exhale, I focus on increasing the rotation. Really deep diaphragmatic breaths here, guys. Really focus on relaxing. You want to go deeper into the stretch. You can contract your muscles, really pulling into the leg, and then let go, and you'll go deeper into the stretch. Slowly, gently, and easily, let's come out of this position, switch sides. So again, one leg is in front, the other leg is wrapped over the front side. Now mind any issues that you might have and make the appropriate adaptations or modifications to your movement. So again, just focus on your position first. Get those sit bones planted into the ground, and then build from that position, pressing through the crown of the head, nice and wide through the shoulders, really allowing your belly to expand as you inhale, and then draw the belly button towards the spine as you exhale. Any sensation that you feel, celebrate it, because that's your nervous system. And we want to develop a good relationship with our nervous system. Let's go ahead and rotate to the side. We want to develop a relationship with our nervous system that's healthy. So even when we feel pain, it's not something to be afraid of, but rather something to celebrate. Because that's your body's way of saying, hey, whoa, hey, we need to address something here. What? Well, that you might need to work out on your own and discern for yourself. But pain is information. It's not no pain, no gain. It's a matter of pain is information. It's just like emotions. I have heard someone say emotions are information and not directions. That makes sense. So again, as I breathe in, I'm elongating through the spine. As I exhale, I'm going a little bit deeper into my stretch. Now, when you're in this twisted position, bring into mind something that you're thankful for. See if you can let go of unnecessary tension. So sure, I've asked you to use your back muscles to get you into this rotated position, but you don't need to be bracing for a punch. It's really just using intrinsic muscles, intrinsic referring to the muscles right around a joint, to make the movement or be a part of the movement in a productive way. But once we're there, let go. Okay, again, we can use a little bit of contraction, just kind of pulling into the position for roughly 5 seconds, using about, maybe 20% of your strength, not really, just a little bit of strength, and then you'll be able to take yourself deeper into the rotation. Okay. Really nice. So from here, let's go into a V-sit position, please, with our legs. So V-sit, legs come out to the side. And all we're going to do with this one is draw the toes towards the nose and contract the quadricep muscles. You're literally pressing your knees into the ground to give yourself a nice gentle stretch in the back side. Now, if I want to change how that stretch is working for me, I can rotate through the leg bone. Sometimes it's helpful to even just move one hip up into the air just a tiny bit, so that now I have one leg moving into internal rotation, one leg moving into external rotation, and just kind of playing around with these different positions. Okay, nice and strong. Now if you're super flexible, And you can bring those arms in front of you, feel free. Nice and strong and long. I want the legs to be strong. And if you contract the quadricep muscles, that will create safety in the knee joints, and you'll get a more productive stretch of the backside. Very nice and easy. Come into a cross-leg position in front of the body. Long through the spine. Just send some gentle waves of motion through the spine. Just relax it out, massaging any part of your body that you feel needs it. Just take our hands on the back side of our neck. Some gentle massage here. And it's not really about squeezing things out, and you can do that if you like. But it's really just letting the body know, hey, I love you. I want to support you in whatever way I can. I'm going to tell other parts of the body to help you. My hands are going to help my neck. I can press into the back, you know. You can get a nice extension through the spine. Just massaging into the side of the neck. Add a gentle reach if I like. So this, we can relax and we can recover with movement. Nice and easy. Let your breath be deep and expansive. Really pull yourself forward at the lumbar spine so that you're not collapsing through the low back. You want it to be long here. Just adding a little cross body stretch. Okay, let's bring the arms out to the side, palms, hands or fingers open, shoulders down away from the ears. We're just going to hold this for a couple moments, nice and strong. Imagine reaching through the elbows or from the elbows. So allow the elbows to be your focus of where you're reaching from. Strong into the arms. Take the palms facing the ceiling now. Opening up through the chest. Allow the arms to come back just a little bit. Opening up through the chest. Lower the arms nice and slow. Doesn't look like I'm doing it at the same time either. Really nice. Inhale, exhale. Okay, how'd you guys do? I hope you guys did good. I hope you guys feel good. The sensations you feel in your body after a workout let you know how good you did, how well you did. So there we are. You guys are all still here, so thank you so much for staying to the end. Maybe you left your computer on, maybe you feel like you were there, but in any case, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being with me this morning, and I hope you enjoyed today's workout. All right, ready for that dance class? That's what I'm talking about. You're welcome, Catherine. You're welcome. Thank you guys again so much for being here today. Please make sure to be here next week, same time, same channel, and carry the relaxation and the power you feel in your body now with you the rest of the day, okay? Thanks, guys.